Blog Talk Radio.
Live from Fort Bragg's backyard, this is the show that put the 110 Nation on the map. There is only one nation.
Well, I'm not quite sure where Mike is. I thought he was going to chime in here. I want to welcome everybody for tuning in to the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network. Hot Laughs with Stats tonight. Before Mike jumps on here, got to make sure that I thank a few people to make this all possible. Got to thank Fit for Life. You guys can check them out on Facebook, Fit for Life, where you guys can go to www.the110nationsports.com. On the right-hand side, I got this nice, pretty little banner for you guys. All you got to do is click on it, see if there's a location near you, 24/7, 365. Get your gym on. Clean facility, courtesy staff. Everything you guys need, all you got to do is check them out. Fit for Life. I also got to thank Snafu Seasoning, the official sponsor of Racing with Big Sweat, right here on the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network, Thursday nights, 9 p.m. 100% all natural, no preservative, meat rub. Goes great with your grilling. Check them out. Call in. Be part of the show. All you got to do is call in, talk to the host, or talk to the guests. Big Sweat will hook you up with a bottle of Snafu Seasoning. I also got to thank I-95 Sports Network and Mile High Radio for rebroadcasting or syndicating our shows. Without all these great people, this would not be possible. So I got to thank every last one of them. Make sure you guys check out the 110 Nation on Facebook, 110 Nation Sports. And also make sure you guys check out the 110 Nation Sports Show. Your host tonight of Hot Laughs with Stats is my co-host on there. Monday through Wednesday at 7 p.m. We have a lot of great guests. This last week we had Dylan Lumpton, Sprint Cup, Xfinity Series, and Camping World Truck Driver. We had Dominique from Rhett Jones Racing. We had Mark from Rhett Jones Racing. We also had our very own NHL expert, Izzo, in the house as well. A lot of great guests we had this week, so make sure you guys check that out as well. You also guys can also follow us on Twitter at 110 Nation. Not quite sure. There he is. Now Mike's making it to the studio. Now I'm going to turn the show over to Mike. Mike, your first guest is in the studio as well, so go ahead and take it away.
Okay, CJ, so I'm a little late there. I just got, sidetracked a little bit. Our first guest is Paul Masse, who will be talking to us about the upcoming is Sunday, really, the induction ceremony for the Hall of Fame. Paul, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, Paul? How you doing?
Good.
Okay.
Very good, actually.
I'm sure. You got a busy weekend coming up, or a busy Sunday anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, actually.
Okay. Tell the fans a little bit about the inductees and that weren't around or might not have heard the first show we had you on. Tell them a little bit about the inductees, who's going to be there, and how many tickets and how many people are coming, etc. Give them a rundown.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on tonight. This certainly kicks off our very, very busy weekend. There's no doubt about it. Near New England Auto Races and Antique Races Hall of Fame is this Sunday. and it begins at about noontime at McNeely's in East Windsor, Connecticut. We have 11 people, actually 12, because we have two brothers going in on the same ballot. We're going into the Hall of Fame. Ken Bouchard from the Bouchard Racing family, Dwight Jarvis, who lives in New Hampshire, Jack Arute from Stafford Springs fame and television fame, for sure. George Moose Hewitt. George died 20 years ago. He is going in posthumously, obviously, and his family will be there to accept his induction. Noki Fenaro Jr., he is a midget driver, not only raced in New England, but pretty much throughout the Northeast. Ricky Craven, he's a TV personality, raced here in New England and down south. He actually won a couple of cup races, one in Martinsville and the other one in Darlington. But he's on TV on ESPN every week. Randy LaJoy, the joy of seating, as Randy is the originator of that company. His father is in the Hall of Fame, and he's going in this week. Jerry Marquis, another modified driver from Connecticut that raced up and down the New England states and has a tremendous, tremendous record, not only in modifieds but also in late models and in pro stocks. And the people we have who are in the veterans segment, we have Fred Meeker from Connecticut. Fred was NASCAR midget champion, a World War II veteran, and raced both in ARDC and NEMA, and he won a lot of races. John Burgess, another guy who actually started racing prior to World War II, raced in AAA and IMCA racing action, and he was actually connected to Briggs Cunningham, the museum. He passed away in 1992. Then two brothers, and this seems to be like strange, but research indicates that Francis and Freeland Stanley are going into the Hall of Fame. Now, they are known for the Stanley Steamer. But believe it or not, back in 1906 at Ormond Beach, Florida, they went 127 miles an hour in a car. And that little later on, the car went up to 150, and it crashed, and that was the end of their racing activity. But they were inventors, and they were from New Hampshire. They were from Massachusetts, and ultimately ended their experiences in Maine. So they're going in as well. So that makes 11 people, 12 with the two Stanley brothers.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we have some other awards as well. Russ Dowd, who was a contributor for a long, long time in racing circles, mostly at Thompson, that I remember him as an announcer, but he's been involved in racing forever and a day. He's going to win the Frank Murata Award, and that is Outstanding Contributions to Auto Racing in New England. And we have two awards for media. One is from Phil Whipple. He's from Maine. And Richard Bigelow, also, he is from Vermont. And
very good.
Then one outstanding award is going to be the Ron Bouchard Memorial Award. It's the first time that we do this. Myself and Paula Bouchard will be presenting that award to Ken Squire. So that will take care of our afternoon. So, I mean, everything is done. The plaques are great. You know, the jackets, the T-shirts that everybody gets, and it's just outstanding. You know, the New England Patriots are popular here in New England, not so much the rest of the country, but do your job is one of those things that you hear a lot out of Patriot Nation, and that's what happened here since last spring. That's how long it takes to get this process underway. Everybody did their job, and they did it marvelously well. And we're going to have about 350 people. I think the count is 351, if I'm not mistaken. This morning, we had to give a final total in to McNeely's. So that's a good crowd of people, real good crowd of people, and it's going to be all about racing. It's fantastic. I can't wait.
Right. How many inductees, or how many people are in the Hall of Fame with the addition of the inductees?
Yeah, well, you had 207 before this weekend and add 12 more to that, that would be what, 219. You know, the Stanley brothers go in on one award, but there are two of them.
Right.
And another different thing about this Hall of Fame induction process, Nicky Noki Fenoro is going in. His father is in the Hall of Fame. Not only his father, but his brother Drew, and he's going in the Hall of Fame, in their Hall of Fame. So it's quite remarkable. I did get to speak to a lot of the inductees that are coming in, and they are thrilled. They just can't believe it. They're so happy and so much willingness to participate and get it right. They want to do everything correctly, get their meals all straightened out. What am I going to do? How am I going to? The presenters are all lined up. That's all done by the committee, and it's an amazing process. And I find that race drivers, especially when they retire, and even when I've seen them in the pits, when I occasionally get to current races, but I still go to the races and I love it. They're very humble. They recognize the people that have helped them, car owners, the racing fans, top of the list, their family members, their friends. Everyone realizes, they do anyway, all from this class, they could not have done it any other way. This is a team sport. There's one guy in a cockpit racing around, but it's a team sport. You know that, Mike, as well as I do. So, and I'm sure all your listeners know that as well.
Yes. Yes. And down through, no matter what guests we have on CJ's shows, my show, Steve's show, everybody's show, the first thing that people mention when we give them the opportunity is their sponsors and their family, and especially the short track people, although I'm sure the professionals started out that way also, the guys in the upper classes of NASCAR are always mentioning, this from the short track people, you always hear about the family that's involved, et cetera, and not only, like you say, is it a team sport, it's a family sport, and then everybody comes out, to a situation like you have Sunday with the induction, and, all the families and all, as many family members as possible always get tickets to things like this. So, it's down through the recognition goes right from, the driver on down,
Ricky Craven has won a couple of Cup races. He was also runner-up in the Xfinity Series, and now Xfinity Series used to be Busch. Randy LaJoy has won 2 Busch championships, as well as being very, very popular in winning a lot of races in New England. You just take, Jerry Markey and Dwight Jarvis, a couple of modified drivers who race other cars as well, Pro Stocks, et cetera. It's astounding to see how many feature races and championships that they have won. It's just absolutely, it blows my mind. I read this stuff, and I have in front of me, I have the proofs of the plaques. I don't want to make any mistakes tonight, for sure. So I have the proofs here in front of me, and it's unbelievable. It's just absolutely unbelievable. One of the things about this class, and I probably mentioned that this summer when we first spoke, it's a relevant class because we all have seen these guys run. Not the veterans, obviously, because they've been deceased for a long time. But even Moose Hewitt, who's been dead for 20 years, we all have seen all of these guys run. Jack Arute did race a little. I mean, his claim to fame is Stafford Speedway, him and his father and his brother now, and also broadcasting. But we all know these guys. We've seen them go. And so it's just absolutely mind-boggling and exciting. People we cared for, or against sometimes, here they are in full life and just so very sociable, so very warm, very amiable. It is absolutely, it's great. It's just an absolute great time for everybody, for sure. Are you still there?
CJ, you have me?
Yeah, hello.
How's Paul?
Yeah, Mike, I think we lost contact there. I'm sitting down. I didn't move, so.
Yeah, we did. We lost. I've started to say it. I think one of the impressive things about the Hall of Fame, your Hall of Fame, and any Hall of Fame is that the guys come back and they don't forget where they came from. And like you said, guys like Jack LaRoute and where they started, and it's just very impressive that they come back and you know, fans remember them, or especially from a historical standpoint, any of the drivers that make the Hall of Fame, you know. And we discussed this a little bit when you were on the last time about drivers, you know, and you said about they can't believe they're in the Hall of Fame. Well, that goes down through like any sport, you know. It's like the people that participate don't realize, you know, or don't expect to, even in the pros, even in you know, the stick and ball sports, they don't expect to be recognized, and when they make it, they're, you know, especially appreciative. And I think with the short track people, it's especially that way, because it starts out as a hobby, and you know, if you're lucky enough, you can advance, you know, the higher levels, and that's where you get to be professional, you know, in whatever division. You could start out like, you know, I'll use an example. Ryan Peete starting out in the short tracks on Long Island and Connecticut, and in Thompson and different places like that with the modifieds, now is in Xfinity and really probably will sooner or later be in Sprint Cup. And these guys, you know, they always remember where they came from, and that's the impressive thing about it. And they always say, you know, remember where you came from. Well, these guys do, and they don't expect to be recognized in their home state or at their home track, and they, you know, I think that's what takes them by surprise when a lot of them started as a hobby, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, talk about Ryan Priest. I did see him race a couple of times this summer here in New England. So
right.
He does get. I don't know. He has one heck of a schedule. That's all I know.
Right.
You see him on TV, then the next day he's at Thompson. That's unbelievable.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
A lot of frequent flyer miles. Okay. As far as now, we had you on talking about the Hall of Fame in general before the induction, before the ceremonies, but basically what I wanted to ask you on that is, are there any, like, you go from track to track during the year, not you, maybe not you personally to all of them, but Jim does and your membership does. Do any of the Hall of Famers make a you know, appearances on behalf of you guys?
You're talking about Hall of Famers making
yes.
appearances? That was your question. Yes. Sometimes they do. Our Hall of Fame is mobile. It's a vehicle.
Right.
And has all the plaques inside. We go from track to track. Occasionally we do have some Hall of Famers that will come and sign autographs and just be present. Most of those usually, it's very difficult to set up, very difficult to do, because where we are, they may not be available, et cetera. But it does happen. If you know, our organization is run 100% by volunteers, and trying to organize all of this. Plus, we have a car division. We do have exhibition racing of vintage race cars besides that. So, you know, we really stay busy, although we do have Hall of Famers who are very active in there and absolutely have a lot to do with the functions of NAIR. So we have, I would say, 8 or 9, maybe 10 Hall of Famers who are active. They come to meetings, they're on committees, and they do things. So, and that in itself is pretty good. You know.
I was just wondering, in lieu of, you know, the events that you have, like you say, the vintage races, and for example, I would say, using my example, okay, say Riverhead, okay? If you had any guys that raced in New England that are now living in the Long Island area, when the events come to Riverhead, would those guys make appearances? And that's what I was thinking of, like in terms of the Connecticut tracks, when you were at Thompson or Stafford or really any place you guys go in New England. If a member, a Hall of Fame member lives in that vicinity, do you try to reach out to them and say, okay, we're going to be at this track at this time. Could you make an appearance? That's what I was just wondering, if you did that.
Yeah. We do it indirectly. Now, Jim Williams is the one who goes to Riverhead, as you know, Jim, who had the Tommy Baldwin tribute car to Baldwin. All the Hall of Famers receive our newsletter. We publish it 6 times a year. And more times than not, if it's in their area and they're available, we will see them come to the Hall of Fame truck and identify themselves or just connect with us. Or if we have just a display, not even running sometimes, they'll come over and they'll sit and be part of whatever it is that we do. So they're very familiar. Now, we had, I think, 22 shows last year with the Hall of Fame truck, as well as running cars. I think the truck probably went out a dozen times throughout New England, and the 22 shows all total for the running for the guys that raced, and some of them are still shows as well. We find there are Hall of Famers, if they're present at the track, they will come and join us because they know everybody is very well aware of what our schedule is. Plus, we have a website, and that's published all the time as well.
Right.
So that's pretty much how we keep in contact with Hall of Famers. And some guys, or we have 2 women on the Hall of Fame, they're both deceased. But some of the guys we see all the time. If we're somewhere, they're there.
Right.
It's really just the way it is. Like this Sunday, Bugsy Stevens is going to be there, of course, and Bugsy is like the Richard Petty as far as we're concerned. He holds court no matter where he goes, and he does it very graciously. And his man is, I don't know, probably 80, 81, 82 years old, and he's great. He's great with the fans, and they haven't forgotten that connection to the fans. If somebody stops to speak with them, they will. That was certainly one of the traits of Ron Bouchard in this book that was written about him, Coastal 181, has for sale. Bones Bouchier is the one who wrote the book with a lot of other people. He was the editor of it, and he too, like Richard Petty. There aren't too many people that they say no to, and you just don't hear it because they're always there, always available, and willing to be and talk to and answer questions to the person who's like myself, a railbird, who's been going to races for a long, long time, and they realize the show is about getting the fans there, and you're going to have a good show. No good show, nobody's going to be showing up. It's what it comes down to. So It works very well. It works very well. It's amazing. I mean, I use those 2 guys as examples because they're very well known, but everyone is in the same boat. Especially on Sunday when you have all these Hall of Famers that are there. We probably have maybe 30, 35 Hall of Famers besides the inductees that are there. We have a group photo, and there's a lot of people in that group photo, and I'm telling you, they all always, hey, I remember seeing you, blah, 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 blah. And they listen, and they respond, and it's fascinating. That whole thing is absolutely. So I am just thrilled myself to be part of it in the way that I am. So it's quite exciting. It'll be tough to sleep the next couple of nights. Really. Yeah.
While you being president, I think you're more, you're not just involved. You're at the head of it. So, you're to be commended, and that's a lot of what the Hall of Fame is. Obviously, all the fans know this. A lot of it's memory based. I mean, that's the draw the fascination with it is, I remember you, and I have good memories of you, and so forth. And that's what happens. And just, you mentioned Bugs. I remember Bugsy. I first met him. I can't say I'm good friends with him because he's in the New England area, and I'm, Long Island. But I remember him way back when he used to come into Islip Speedway during the All-Star Racing League events.
Oh, yeah,
so
sure.
I met Bugsy a couple of times through that, and that was like once a year at that point. But and we've talked about many times, not with you, but on the show, that I believe the closest thing I could say the All-Star Racing League was the precursor of the Whalen Modified Tour, where the guys went on tour. And at that time, it was still the All-Star Racing League, and Bugsy ran there with a few of the other guys like Richie Evans that would come in on like a tour-like basis. But
Flem Cages, back. I mean, there's a whole list of drivers. Bouchard, all these guys, they all did that. I don't know how they did a lot of this before all these highways were built, and I don't know. They must have spent an awful lot of time in a hall, it seems to me. But they were a dedicated group.
A lot of gas money. But, yeah. But,
well, okay. Anyway, thank you very much for your interest in what we do here in New England.
Okay.
I appreciate it. A couple of people that are outstanding that I spoke with is Nicky Fenoro. He is more excited than anything. And the other guy was Ricky Craven. Ricky is able to express himself in a very different way. He's a professional. And let me tell you, I wish I could take these conversations and just share them with everyone. But that's what it is. NEAR is about racing people. It's about people. It's no cars, no racetracks, none of those things are in the Hall of Fame. It's all people done for and cared for. We are the custodians of the Hall of Fame, and I know we do a real good job, and we're very thorough in what it is that we do, and we're very grateful that we can do this, let me tell you.
Yep. Well, you do a nice job, and I saw your website. I try to follow you as much as possible, especially with the till now. But even a little bit before, because I was aware of some of the New England guys. I can't say I'm aware of all of them, but you living in New England and following the racing up there, and especially in your position now, you would know more than me. But a lot of those guys, like I said, down through the years have come to Long Island, and while they were racing, while they were active in the sport, or actually running a car. So, I'm familiar with some of them. But I have one final question. I know I told you I wouldn't keep you for the entire hour, but as far as, like we said, your program is going to be busy. It's a busy afternoon. Are there time frames, set aside, like autographs or different things, or do you just let people mix with people at the event itself, or is there like autograph sessions, times for that, or something?
Yeah,
like
let me explain that to you. This year we have a different twist. Matt Buckler, who is the voice of many speedways, Stafford Springs, Thompson, Connecticut, New London, Waterford, those three tracks that I know he announces every week. He is going to do. He's going to stream YouTube. He's going to do interviews in that 2-hour period. We have reception time of the event before we sit down and have a meal together. So he's going to do that. That's going to be very different. At the end, now people certainly recognize drivers and current drivers who are been in the Hall of Fame prior to, and they can certainly ask for autographs. The booklet that we have, is a great tool to use to get autographs. At the end, when it's all said and done, we have all the Hall of Famers gathered together. The current class, in this particular case, there will be 7 in this particular class that are alive. And then we put them all together, and we have a whole group photo. And that's what people mill about. It's a strange thing about, autographs. It's just, I don't see a whole lot of it. It's more, let me shake your hand and just shoulder to shoulder, if you will, and just let me sit and talk with you for a little bit. I sat and watched your race. I saw this. I saw that. I remember that race in 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and you won, and here it was. And they remember, so that's more of that takes place than the autograph sessions. Yeah, the people who are being inducted and those who are previously inducted they're 100% receptive. They just don't believe sometimes that, how do you remember me? How come? How come you remember me, after all these years? So, yeah, it's a very accessible afternoon. Very accessible.
Right.
People
Very
do not leave. They don't leave disappointed. There's no doubt about that.
Very good. And finally, Paul, the last thing I wanted to ask you to do, and give you a chance to, give a shout out to these people. The people that help you sponsor the event, besides yourselves, obviously, if there's any name sponsors you have, and then finally, how people can sign up for NEAR if they're not a member already. Those are the last two things I wanted to cover.
Okay. Sponsorship. We have no major sponsor. It's not that I haven't tried. We certainly have, especially for the Hall of Fame vehicle. It's a big truck. It's made for people to walk through it and come out the other side. We'd love to have a sponsor. We certainly have tried, and we've had a lot of assistance. I would think when the Ron Bouchard Auto stores have been very, very helpful to us. And a lot of racing clubs have also been very helpful to us. But we do not have a major sponsor. We do have a booklet. We sell ads, and we go from that. And it works. It works okay. It makes it difficult without a major sponsor, but we get it done.
Right.
Membership is only $20 a year. You get a genuine membership card wrapped in plastic. And then, of course, we have 6 publications a year, newsletters, that keeps everyone informed about what we're doing, our schedules, what's going on, and also it gives you a first run as the next Hall of Fame class. We begin in a few weeks to prepare for next year's Hall of Fame. So that's how that works. But it's $20 a year. Go online, near1.org, and membership is very easy. It's a matter of a $20 check. You don't need a membership application. If you want one, you certainly can print it off the website. A little note, I want to be a member. This is my name and address with a check for $20, and you will be put on. We have, off the top of my head, I suppose I should know this. I think we have about 405 members. So we get a pretty good membership base. We have a pretty good membership base. And it grows all the time. It grows all the time. So.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, Mike?
I'm glad, and I hope you have a very successful induction ceremony, and I'm sure you will because you guys put a lot into it. And thank you very much for coming on, Paul. We appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, Mike, and stay in touch, okay?
I will do. Will do.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay, fans, that was Paul Masse, who is the president of the NEAR, the New England Antique Racers, who are running their Hall of Fame induction. And as he told you, many different types of Halls of Fame. This is not a building. This is a mobile van that they have. And I explained to you also that Marty Hines has one in Long Island as well. He has his that he sets aside a portion of his house for it. So there's different types, different halls of fame, but different ways to go about it. And the New York people, the New England people, do it with a mobile van all through the season, all through the year. They go from track to track, and they do a very nice job, and they wrap it up again on Sunday, this coming Sunday. And you can drop by on the website, take a look, and if you become a member in the next year, if you don't have tickets to this year's event, which is again Sunday, you become a member next year, you'll have access to the 2017 Hall of Fame event. And like Paul just said, it almost for them gets to be a year-round situation because they work on the Hall of Fame. The next event, the next end of the year event, almost at the conclusion of this year's event. So it goes from year to year, and it's pretty much by the time they do all the legwork involved, et cetera, it's almost a yearly thing for them. And I've talked to Paul and about coming on in the program in the past, and he's always great about giving me information, and that's one of the things he stressed. And he told it to you tonight too, that it's almost a yearly thing with them as far as a year-round thing. By the time they do all the legwork involved and get it done, now here we are in November, and it's the end of the year, and they've got it, and they're coming up on another one between the jackets and everything they have going with that. So it's really a professional situation that they have, and they have a lot of guys that are known, that are now nationally known from TV or cable, or like he was saying, ESPN, Jack Arute and Ricky Craven and people like that come back into the area and that are indeed still recognized and still revered, really, in the New England region. So should be a very interesting event coming up on Sunday. Okay, our next guest in the 9 o'clock hour will be Janice Blewett from the Blewett Family. And she is running an event also. It's the end of the year. It's all kinds of celebrations and awards ceremonies. She's having a memorial event for, unfortunately, we lost, and the Blewett family lost, and racing lost a very competitive young man and very untimely situation. A few years ago, the John Blewett III memorial event at Woody's in Farmingdale, New Jersey, and she'll be on talking about that and talking about the Blewett family history a little bit that extends down to Long Island and also to Northeast. And I'm sure, if I remember correctly, John used to go on the road a lot too, as far as down to other tracks. I'm sure he must have hit the South at one point or another. And Jimmy was just there last weekend. We were going to have Jimmy on, but Janice graciously decided, or when I asked her, she graciously agreed to come on in Jimmy's spot because Jimmy has a wedding tonight, so he couldn't, or this weekend, so he couldn't come on the radio. But so Janice will be on. But in the meantime, I just wanted to say, unfortunately, I got in a little late. Sorry about that, CJ, for the program tonight. But I wanted to start off just by saying Veterans Day, that I wanted to thank all the veterans who've either served or are serving. on this special day, commemorating them. And thank you for your service, one and all. And so that being the case also, we hope you have a lot of veterans out there that listen to the programs. And CJ is one of them, so thank you for your service, CJ. So anyway, we started the program off with Paul, and we're going to have Janice on. A couple of things about future guests. I have reached out to the Connecticut tracks and trying to get some people from their groupings, Thompson and Stafford and people like that. Now, the next big event that I know of that's coming up as far as racing, again, that sticks out to me is the Wall Stadium is the Turkey Derby, which will be coming up in 2 weeks or so. And the thing about that, and it ties into Janice's appearance tonight, is that the Blewett Memorial event will be on a Turkey Derby practice day. So she brought up the fact that they hope that will increase. That's always a well-attended event for people that competed with and are obviously enamored of the Blewetts and competitors of, friends and competitors of the Blewett family. But they were hoping that the fact that everybody associated with the Turkey Derby will be around Wall Stadium for the practice, the competitors and so forth. They're hoping that what happens is they go through the practice session and then drop by Woody's for the event. So hopefully that will be the case. But within the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping to get Bob Finan on. We were supposed to have him on tonight, but there was a logistical problem. So I hope to have him on within the next week or so. And just the availability of any kind of guest. What I'm asking in the off season, especially, is for fans in all the regional areas in Northeast Connecticut, Massachusetts, New England, or wherever. I will try to, after the ceremonies on Sunday, perhaps, hopefully get a few of the Hall of Fame members on to speak to the fans directly. So for those fans that don't get a chance to attend the event, they can, hear the Hall of Fame members on the radio, on the program. And what I'm asking the fans, again, in general, to do is to get hold of me, reach out to me on the Hot Laps with Stats fan page, and just name some people, competitors that you would like to see. We're here, I should say. We're not TV, we're radio. Here on the radio. And I will do my best to book them. Another guest, which I would like to have on within the next couple of weeks, and as we look at the off season, is Jeff Goodell. The reason for that is he is stepping aside from his modified, the number 46, and Woody Pitcat, and I hope I'm saying that name right. I always spelled it right, but I hope I got the pronunciation correct. He is going to step into the 46 for this year, as Jeff Goodell is going to step away for a year. to concentrate on the business and that he is involved with, that his family is involved in, which is the Riverhead Building Supply company, and his to take some time off for himself. And so Woody Pitkat is going to step into that 46 on the Whalen Modified Tour. That announcement, actually, that I had seen that this week, and reached out to him, and he said he had a prior commitment tonight. He couldn't come on, but I will definitely keep him in abeyance for a future show during the off season, as that is the first change that I am aware of team-wise, a driver versus driver or whatever change in the off season, him stepping away from the number 46 tour modified. So when he always he of course ran Riverhead as well, but the 46 will be taken on tour by Woody Pitkat. So that was a change that was announced just this week. But I plan on doing the same thing, which is devoting, now tonight we're devoting the 2 hours to people, obviously, that have events coming up, which is important, for upcoming events like within the next couple of weeks. But I'll get back to the original plan that I had laid out when I started the show, was to have one driver, one competitor, and one support staff is what I call them, be it announcers, PR men, etc. Not necessarily racing competitors or race drivers. So that's what we're going to do all throughout the off season as well for the different tracks. Also, we're going to have other dates coming up, so you can mark your calendar. The Riverhead Awards ceremony, the Riverhead Raceway Awards ceremony to all champions in those divisions. That dinner will be held on January the 7th. We had Eddie Partridge on, and Connie was nice enough to pass that date along to him that night, and I put that down in my notes that is January the 7th. So right now we have a couple of dates coming up. Also, there is a swap shop coming up for on Sunday at Riverhead in the pit area, and that is and again, that ties into what we've always said on this program and a lot of the CJ's program and the racing programs as well, the race drivers we have on, where they work on their cars pretty much all year long, and with sponsorship cars, whatever, and mechanical. They're always doing something with the car after taking a break for the holidays, say, and they're right back in the garage and right back in the shop. Well, if you need a part or anything from a small part to a full race car, I believe, that will be available on Sunday at Riverhead Raceway pit area. Go on to the Riverhead Raceway website and get that information, and and that'll be held on Sunday for those of you on Long Island who hopefully will have good weather and go out there and get some needed high performance parts or race cars or everything else. And then there is an event, I believe, that Bob Feynman runs every year, and I think there's going to be a second one with this swap shop, or if this is the only one, I'll recheck that. But Bob always had a similar event in December. So there might be two of them coming up, and I'll have that information by next week's show as well. So that being the case, a lot of off-season events coming up with the different tracks, and they're running similar events and obviously awards for everybody. I'm reaching out to the Connecticut tracks, also trying to get the dates for their awards ceremonies. I will get in touch with Wall Stadium also. If Janice doesn't know, she probably knows when the Wall Stadium Awards will be held as well. So we'll check with her when she comes on at 9 o'clock. But there's a lot of interesting off-season events for the fans to get involved with. And the racing, competitive racing, might have been winding down. I mean, with different situations like the Turkey Derby still being upcoming. But in the Northeast, we're kind of winding down the situation, and the awards ceremonies usually are the topper of everything. So, like I said, the off-season events too, for some fans to get you involved in that. It's always a popular event because people change divisions or move up or decide to start being competitive as far as openings, maybe starting a car or having the first, preparing the car for the first time, or a different car, or moving up from a different division or whatever. That being the case, there is a situation that I'm going to have, hopefully, him on. Now I can make the announcement. He was going to come on, and unfortunately is working on Friday night, so he couldn't come on tonight or any Friday that I know of. He's going to try and let me know when he can come on. But Darren McCabe, who has helped me in the past, and I've said to the fans many times, has been my eyes and ears when I am not at the track, is going to be competing in a late model at Riverhead this year. So he is moving up from go-karts to late model. So wish him luck with that, and I'll definitely be keeping my eye on him, hopefully from the track next year. We'll see what happens. But that's the long-range plan. I plan on being back on Long Island, hopefully in 2017 at Riverhead. But so good luck to Darren McCabe and his crew. He's assembling a crew of friends of his and acquaintances that will work on the car with him. Good luck to him with that new venture, and he is going to run the late model that he bought, the late model that Kyle Elwood ran last year. So good luck to him with that. And a couple of other news items. As I get them, I will be announcing them for the fans to know. That again broke this week as well, or last week, on Facebook. So that's how I know that it was okay to announce that. He wanted to come on himself and announce it, but unfortunately he is working tonight and on Friday nights for at least the near future, I guess, for the holiday season or whatever. But so that's the deal with him. And again, good luck to him. And he has been a great help to me, both lining up situations with guests for the radio show from there, and just the Saturday night racing results, and helpful with my blog while I'm here long distance, and he's helped me and been a great asset to me. And so good luck to him as he straps into his new vehicle and goes from go-karts, as I said, to late models. And so that being the case, that's a division that I know that's another person that'll move up this year, and will attempt to keep abreast of anybody that has a new car or is moving up in the division that he or she hasn't been in the past, and we will of course have them on the program if possible. That's another piece of input that I could ask the fans. Again, for fan input, anybody from your local track going up to another division, let me know, and I will attempt to reach out to them and get their thoughts for the program and get them on the program and have them discuss their move to another division or another car or whatever, anything new in the off season that I might be unaware of. By all means, reach out to me on my personal Facebook page, on the private messenger, or on the Hot Laps with Stats pages as well. And that would be of great help to me, and I look forward to the fan input and just any thoughts about the program and anything you might have to add or a comment, and you can reach me at those pages or on my Twitter account, which is at Stats108. Hold on a second. Okay, CJ, you there? Or is Janice in the studio? CJ? Okay, CJ's not around for the moment. Okay. No, I was waiting to see if Janice was in the studio as yet. CJ?
Yeah.
Okay, you there, CJ? Is Janice in the studio?
Yeah.
Okay. Our next guest is Janice Blewett from the Blewett Family, and who has a memorial event coming up. Janice, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing?
Good. How are you tonight?
Okay. All right. Good. Very good. Tell the fans a little bit about what you do at Wall and everything that's coming up with the memorial event for the JB3.
Okay. Well, coming up is the 9th annual John Blewett Memorial Party. It's going to be held on Saturday, November 19th at 2 p.m. at Woody's Roadside Tavern in Farmingdale, New Jersey. All the proceeds are going to be going to the Masse Medical and Children's Educational Center, which it's, my brother John always loved children. So before this, we used to donate to St. Jude's, but Masse is a foundation that, all the racers pretty much hold near and dear to their heart. They do a Christmas party for the kids every year, and, they pick a kid, they sponsor a child, and then they get a Christmas list from them, and then they have a Christmas party and present the gifts to them and everything. So this is just a little bit more personal for us to start donating to Masse this year.
Right.
And then also at the party, we will have new T-shirts, sweatshirts, new hats. They're going to be a trucker-style hat. And then we also have bracelets and decals. Woody's also donates 20% of all the food proceeds to Masse. So that's very nice of them to do that. They also do a lot of stuff for Wall Stadium as well. Like your ticket, on the back of your ticket from Wall Stadium, there's a 10% off, your food at Woody's. So if you never go to the races, you can stop over at Woody's after and then show them your ticket, and they'll give you 10% off there too. So it should be exciting. And then also, it's going to be very exciting at Wall Stadium. I don't know if you knew it, but Jimmy's going to be racing 4 different divisions at the Turkey Derby. He's going to be racing the Tour Modifieds in the 76, the Raw Modifieds in the 19, the Sportsman's, or some people call crates. He's going to be racing the 5, and he's also going to be racing the Dirt Modifieds in the 43. So it's going to be a very eventful weekend there for the Turkey Derby as well. You can also check out Wall Stadium SpeedwayRacing.com for all the details on that, for camping out or pricing, the times everything starts.
Right.
So it should be good. I can't wait to see Jimmy driving all those divisions. It's going to be crazy.
The 4 different divisions. I knew he was into 2. I didn't know he was driving 4. I know
he's going for 4, but the Sportsman's will be on Friday at least, so Saturday's just going to be the other 3.
Right. So that's...
Yes, so it should be good. I actually texted him because he's at that wedding, and I was like, I need to know what you're racing at Wall, and he said everything. And I said, no, I need specific divisions and car numbers so I can tell him the truth because I don't know what you're doing. He would drive anything. He really would.
Yes. Well, your whole family has been known to get into anything competitive with 4 wheels and speed. So
yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah. And tell, are you there cheering Jimmy on, of course, but are you there basically every week at Wall?
I usually still go to Wall even when Jimmy's not there. It's a little bit weird, but, I have my other guys I root for, Jason Hearn, mostly, whoever's next in line on my list of drivers, and I just root for them, support the local track and everything. But it's good. It's very close to my house. It's only 5 minutes away from my house. So for me, I'm very lucky. But, him being on the tour this year, I was only able to go to 1 tour race at Thompson, which was very nice. The whole family actually went, all my brothers and sisters, and, Jimmy, my brother, but my sisters went, my older sister Danielle and my little sister Michelle. So, yeah, it was good. And Grandpa was there, and Katie with Jimmy's kids, so it was fun.
Yes, the whole family.
Yeah.
I remember from Islip Speedway back when the whole gang used to congregate. That was before, as we discussed before off the air, that was before your time. But I knew John at that time. Used to truck in or trailer in from New Jersey to Islip at that time. And it was always big.
Yeah, I'd like to go in a big pack.
Around his pit area virtually every week. So, yeah, that was a packed pit area with all the Blewetts. But
yeah.
How when did you guys set this up? That unfortunately, John the Third, having passed on with the unfortunate side of racing, as they say. How did you set it? Did you always set this up?
Well, the first year, his girlfriend Crystal actually did the John Boat Memorial, but that was a motorcycle bike run, and then Crystal moved back home, so I took it on the following year, and we tried the motorcycle bike run, but when you do a motorcycle bike run, you get a lot of people you don't know. Like, this is a little bit more intimate thing. We like to give to the children. I like to go to the races and see everybody wearing his shirts and, remembering him. So we did away with the motorcycle bike run part of it. So now we just do a party with the gift auction. Everybody likes that, and there's a band during the day. Then there's a little bit of a break. Then there's another band. So celebrate his life, and everybody, tells stories and, gets to get the new shirt for the year. Everybody waits every year to see, what the new design's going to be. And, I've done regular Scully type hats. This is the first year I've done like a baseball type of hat. So I'm hoping they'll be excited about that. I try to switch it up as much as I can every year. Next year is going to be 10 years. Unfortunately, time flies right by. So next year we're really going to dedicate the shirt to be something very special with, we're going to try to see if we can fit most of the cars that he raced in. If it was just like a one-time deal, we're probably not going to do that, but most of the cars that, he won a feature race in. So that'll be a really nice shirt for next year too. It's good. I mean, I can't really stop doing it because I don't want to, I want to keep the spirit alive as much as possible, and everybody loves it. We usually have around 200 people that come. We've had a lot of people come from out of town, racers, Woody Pitcat, Donnie Leah, Doug Colby, and when the guys can come, they really try to come. But unfortunately, other events happen, weddings. Woody's having a baby right now, so he can't come this year. Doug has parties going on for his championship and stuff like that, so he's not going to be able to make it this year. But, they always send me stuff to put in the gift auction, and, I really appreciate the guys doing that stuff for me because, they all miss him as much as I do. So we always talk about him. We never don't talk about him. Whenever I go on any tour races or, on Facebook, they always send me messages, and, he was a very special person to a lot of people on and off the track. So it's the least we could do for him.
Right. And it's very interesting, like you say, you have the different aspects of it, the shirts and the giveaways, but then the different portions of the afternoon, too, and what you do. And it's just very...
Yeah, we try to keep it going because sometimes people just stop by for lunch or, they want to come and hang out. So we kind of just make it go all day long. And Woody's is literally right across the street from my house, and, they're our good friends. The one owner sponsors Jimmy at Wall Stadium. They're into a lot of sponsoring a lot of cars at Wall Stadium. The Van Winkles, Kenny Van Winkle, they sponsor him as well. They really love the racing, too, so it works out good. And, we're really good friends with them. So... Yeah, well, they pretty much let the Blewetts take over the whole day there, so can't thank them enough for that.
There you go. There are plenty of Blewetts to take over. Yes.
Yes, that's for sure.
But no, you guys have always been involved in the racing scene back from, the first person, as I told you off the air, the first person that I met out of the family was John, and then. Slowly but surely in the pit area of Islip, I met everybody else. Haven't met you in person yet, but that's because you haven't been, you weren't back in the Islip era, but I will eventually. And like I told you, I was going to get, I will get out to one of the events, once I'm back in the New York area, definitely. I had said that to you years ago and just it was travel arrangements that always got me. But I'll definitely make one of those one of these years. I think this is
well, you have to make 10. 10's a big one.
Yeah.
You have a whole year to plan.
Yes, exactly. But the interesting thing is, you talk about where time goes, and I'm sure you feel it much more because because being in the family, obviously. But
right.
I had known that he, passed on a few years back, not just a few, but I knew it was more than 2 or 3. But
right.
when you said 9, that was rather surprising. I said to myself, where does the time go? Doesn't seem
really,
like
it's too fast.
Well, doesn't seem like it's 9 years already. But,
no, it definitely does not. Seems like yesterday.
Yeah, but I followed the Blewetts from near and far, and so I've tried to keep up with the racing aspect of your family, and then through Facebook and meeting you that way, I've followed whatever else is going on as well between Jimmy and you and some members of the family. But I'm glad to know that everybody's doing well. That's still around and still involved in racing in some way, shape, or form, and that's generally how things go. When it's in your blood, and even when you stop driving, you always end up doing, something related to, racing.
Little James races as well. He races at Wall Stadium, and he also does I can't think of the name of the cars. What are those big, long, like wooden cars? They race down hills, like the derby cars, box derby cars.
Derby? Okay.
Yeah, he does that too. People can also friend Jimmy Showtime Blewett's page. We always post stuff on there, and then there's also the John Blewett III tribute page, or if anybody wants to friend me on my Janice Blewett page, they can too. Anybody that's a racer, I pretty much let be my friend. That way they know of, the party coming up, or when I'm selling the sweatshirts and T-shirts, because after the party's over, then I sell, whatever I have left and order some more. I just don't like to do it before the party because, I like to see what the product I get at the first shipment for the party. So it's kind of hard to figure everything out.
Well, you don't want to sell the first bit of shirts before the party, then you won't have enough for the party. So
right, yeah. People get a little bit upset about it, but I'm like, you gotta wait. It's only a week away. I only posted a picture on Facebook of the boxes. I didn't post what they were yet, but when I post a picture of them, then that's when the comments and the inbox messages are going to start flying in of the sizes and what they want and everything. So it should be good. It's very humbling to go to the races, no matter what track I'm at. I always see somebody with one of the sweatshirts that we've done at the party on. And, it makes Jimmy feel good. It makes his friends feel good. Makes Grandpa feel good. That it's like he's still there with us. He's there with us anyway, but it's a good feeling to have that, everybody wants to wear a shirt in remembrance of him.
Yeah. And it's funny you should mention the shirts because there was somebody from Riverhead that did a Facebook Live that wasn't from the track. I think it might have been even Martinsville. I think that they were from Martinsville, and they caught Eddie Partridge, the owner of Riverhead Raceway and the number 6 Whelen Modified Tour Modified.
Chris, the owners of Riverhead.
Right, and Eddie was wearing a JB3 Memorial sweatshirt, and I'm not sure which year it was. It was
I don't put years on the shirts either, because then they're dated. I just do a different shirt every year. But Eddie and his wife usually get one every year, and they were very, very generous this year with donating passes from Riverhead. Bridgeport also donated passes. The Salmons donated passes to the AC indoor race, and also the Trenton New Egypt Speedway is donating passes. So a lot of the racetrack owners and, people there donate tickets to the races for me for the gift auction. So everybody really pitches in to make it a great time.
Now, you mentioned obviously the people at Woody's have been very supportive of anything that has to do with the Blewett family or Blewetts in general with sponsorship. Do you actually get other sponsors that kick in financially to the event as far as other than, donations, like you said, of Eddie's passes and different things like that? Do you get sponsorship for the actual event to help you out, or how does that work?
Grandpa's my main sponsor. We don't really like to take anything else out of the, outside the family for the event. Cause, if somebody wants to donate, there's a business, a collision business, Barry Jost, he always gives me money to go buy pocketbooks to put in the party. So there's something there for the ladies, because it's a lot of racing stuff, And plus,
right.
It's good for the pocketbooks to be there as well, because if one of the guys is there and they win a pocketbook for their wife and they come home late, then they can say, look, I won you a pocketbook.
Yeah, exactly.
We have some people that, they own a business and they don't really necessarily have a gift they want to donate. So they'll say, go buy a gift, go buy a bicycle or pocketbooks or jewelry or whatever you want to buy to put in the gift auction. But for the most part, it's just Grandpa that helps me get it all together there. And then, Woody donates the 20% of the food sales. So that's another check that we get to donate to Massini.
Right. No, I was wondering about that because, like you said, there's so much that goes into it besides the auction and different things that just come through donations. And I was wondering, and I figured that John would be helpful with that, obviously. And then also what you were mentioning, sponsorship. I don't even know if you know, and I'm not trying to blindside you with a question here, but as far as sponsorship on the cars, has there been anyone, obviously other than the junkyard, I would think would be helpful and all because it's a family situation, on all the cars? Has there been any sponsor that's been on all the modified down through the years from John on down, or you mean people that sponsor the cars to donate to the party? Troyer always donates. Starrett is going to be donating stuff this year. Well, the party and also on the modified, like a sponsor that maybe John had on the modified back in '76. In my era of like I told you, it was the first year I was writing.
Right.
And has anybody like come down and been like the sponsor on like John III's car, and then Jimmy, and stayed with the Blewetts?
I can't really specifically say anybody, but I know that there was sponsors that were carried on, from my father and from John, and then on to Jimmy. Starrett actually sponsors Little James, so it kind of goes down the line, with if you're staying with the team,
Right. That's what I was shooting for. I wouldn't, unless you knew off the top of your head, I wouldn't expect you to name them. Although it would be nice.
Yeah, no, I don't. I have to look at the race car. I mean, there's a lot of them on the cars. Of small businesses around here like auto body places and things like that. Sponsor John and still sponsor Jimmy. So, they want to stay in the circle, the Blewett circle.
Right. Well, that's great because a lot of, unfortunately, with the economy being what it is, certain drivers lose sponsors not because of, that they're not, the sponsors want to do it, but they can't do it economically. And so I was just wondering if anybody was able to stick with it, and you're saying a few probably have, and which is good because, like I said,
and we're very lucky that we have Grandpa.
Yeah.
He is a hard worker. He still goes to work every single day.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Grandpa. Jimmy works every time he's not. If he's away racing, he's away racing. But, he works every single day. And on top of having 2 small children and, 3 sisters, he's got a lot on his plate. And he still, he still gets the job done and still wants to run 4 divisions like an animal and keep going. He doesn't want to stop. He wants to keep going and going. So that's what we love about him and Grandpa too. They're very similar in personality. So, it's good to have nice, strong men in your family.
I would think John would still be in the car if he could be. I always when I used to kid John back then. I said, they're going to cut you out of the car, not in a bad way, but you're not going to leave the seat voluntarily. And,
no, he would be racing and forever. He would be just like Jamie Camino. He would never stop racing.
But he's glad to know he was still going strong, as they say, and like all the Blewetts and you guys, like I told you off the air, have always been, friendly to me, and you're just friendly individuals. But like I said, you always very accepting of me whenever I had to do something around the track, or whether it was my column or now the radio show. And, I really appreciate, and I, like I told you off the air, I have a special spot in my heart for the Blewett family. They've been, like I said, the first family I think that I came across in the pit area. And then follow Janice?
I got you back in, but then she left again.
Oh, man. Yeah, get it back. You got the number, right, Janice Blewett? Got it?
You want out?
Janice?
No, she's not in.
Oh, okay. You got the number, right, CJ?
I have it, but I don't know how to do it. I'm using something else tonight. I don't have the same studio.
Oh man. All right, let me talk to the fans a while. I'll see if I can get her on the phone and tell her. Got it? What was that beat? Okay.
Nah, I'll go ahead and promote the network real quick.
I'm sorry?
I said I'll promote the network.
Okay. All right. Janice on the phone.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Hot Laps with Stats tonight right here on the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network. Make sure that you guys, I want to make sure that I thank a couple people, as Mike just left, and then don't go nowhere. Mike will be back in just 1 second. He went to contact you. I want to thank Fit for Life. You guys should check them out on Facebook, Fit for Life. You guys can go to our site, www.the110nationsports.com. On the right-hand side, I have this nice, pretty banner all set up for you guys. All you got to do is click on it and let you know if there's a location near you, 24/7, 365. Get your gym on, courtesy staff, clean facility, all the equipment you need. Check them out. That's Fit for Life. Also got to thank Snafu Seasoning, the official sponsor of Racing with Big Sweat, Thursday nights, right here at 9 p.m. on the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network. 100% all natural, no preservative, meat rub, great on just about anything you want to grill. Make sure you guys tune in Thursday nights. All you got to do is call in, be part of the show, talk to the host, the guest. Big Sweat will hook you up with a bottle of it for free. So all you got to do is just call in Thursday nights, 9 p.m., Racing with Big Sweat, brought to you by Snafu Seasoning. And then I also got to thank Mile High Radio and I-95 Sports Network for rebroadcasting or syndicating our shows. Without all these great people, we would not be able to continue doing what we're doing right here at the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network. Now I'm going to turn you guys back over to Mike and his guest.
Great, thank you. Thank you, CJ. Sorry, fans, a little technical difficulties tonight. Janice, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, amen. No, I don't know what other fans or you heard, but the last thing I was just saying, you guys have always been helpful to me throughout my writing career, which I appreciate, and being open to whatever I needed, and I really appreciate you guys down through the years helping me out.
Not a problem at all. We always like helping you out.
Tell fans a little bit that aren't familiar with how many people get involved in your family in racing. Pretty much everybody at this point, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, my older sister, Danielle, she goes as much as possible. Shelley usually goes to every single race, and, all of our cousins and aunts and uncles, everybody usually comes. There's a lot of us, so as long as we don't have something going on, they're usually there cheering them on, especially at Wall Stadium, because it's so close for everybody.
Right.
And then if not, we're watching the Chrome Horn or we're watching on Speed 51 to see what's going on, but it's not as exciting as seeing it in person,
Right. Well, I always, like I was talking to you the other night with, you're always on Facebook Live shooting video of Jimmy, so, he's got.
Yeah, I try to do it because, there's a lot of people that aren't in New Jersey. They can't come to the races. They want to be a part of the live action, too. So Jimmy calls it live action.
Well, Jimmy has his own fan club with you, but I know a lot of the tracks, as the fans know from my show, and we're going to have, that's another guest for a future show. We tried to get him on one night when we had technical difficulties. Peter Milano runs the video for Riverhead, and there are guys all over, I think the guy's name is, I don't know his last name, but Sid runs this guy named Sid.
Yeah, I know Sid. Yeah, he's good.
Runs it for the Connecticut tracks too, and so everybody has their videographer, and some of them are in the family, and some of them are, affiliated with the track, but everybody has a little film input, with the races, but. As far as what you do, I know you work for a golf course, correct?
Yes, I'm a food and beverage manager at Pebble Creek in Colts Neck for 20 years.
Okay. Interesting thing there, and I always wanted to ask you, do any of the racers golf, and do you ever have any golf outings in relation to racing?
No, we haven't had any in relation to racing. We mostly do for police officers, firemen, college alumni. We do, September is totally packed with World Trade Center golf outings. We do the golf outing that is for the Port Authority for 9/11, and that's our biggest one of the year. There's probably 300 guests to that one. We actually have a piece of the World Trade Center at the golf course there that they donated to us. That's on right before you tee off on the first tee. So,
wow.
Yeah, so it's good. A lot of veterans, a lot of, cops and things like that we do.
Right.
It's a fun job. It's definitely a fun job. I love it.
You learn something new every day, and that's something I didn't realize, that you guys had a piece of the World Trade Center.
Yeah, it's very nice, and there's a monument thing set up there. You can buy a brick and put a name on it if you'd like. It's very beautiful.
Right. No, I was wondering about that because I know, from Facebook again. I didn't know this, without reading it on Facebook that you worked at a golf course, and I think, it just dawned on me to ask you as one of the questions for tonight when I knew you were on, because I know, certain athletes that are known for certain things, in this case racing, race car drivers. I was wondering if, any of them, golf at your course, and if they did, if you ran any kind of event, event in connection with racing.
I think Jimmy would probably have to be totally retired before he golfed. Too slow for him.
Yeah.
That's not fast enough for him. He goes to the driving range, but
he's not
18 holes,
he's
not fast enough.
He's not used to walking speed,
Yeah. He'd probably drive the heck out of the golf cart, but
not fast enough for him, right?
Yeah.
No, but that's that's interesting, and for fans that didn't know, and it was interesting. A lot of people when I did the publicity on Facebook today, a lot of people reached out to me and said, "Oh, Janice is going to be on this," and you'll have to listen. So hopefully we picked up a few more listeners from that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean you have a big fan club that you might not be aware of, but I was getting a lot of feedback from people saying, "Oh, you having Janice on tonight?" If I knew this, I would have had Janice on with Jimmy. But anyway, you made it. You made it on yourself by yourself here. But no, tell things a little bit more about the memorial event. Anything we left out, or you want to mention again, like the address or anything like that?
Sorry, I don't even have the address off the top of my head. It's on my Facebook page, and it's on John's page and Jimmy's page, but it's right across the street from my house, if anybody knows where I live, but it's in Farmingdale, New Jersey. It's Woody's Roadside Tavern. You can look it up that way as well, but it's going to be following the second Turkey Derby practice, so, we'll get all the racers after Turkey Derby practice coming over, getting into the prizes and everything, and the band will be going. It's just a really good time to get people together, as I'm walking around, because I'm very busy with the party. I hear people telling stories about John and, laughing, smiling, a couple tears, We try not to cry. We want to remember all the happy times. But we do it every year to remember him, and it's really special to all of his friends, that we still do it, and to give the money to the kids in Matheny. They really could use it, and it's going to put so many smiles on their faces. So party puts smiles on faces, and so does the benefits for the children, so it works out good.
Very good, very good. It's always good to tie into something, and you feel like you're helping, not only recognizing, like you say, recognizing a person that was very important to, local races, and like you say, a lot of friends, and basically, I guess the tour people too, because he ran a lot of the tour races as well, and so and then to have that recognition, or just a remembrance, like you said, a lot of what we were talking about too with the Hall of Fame, before with the New England Hall of Fame, is just a lot of this is just like you say, the draw of it is just to sit around and talk and remember the good times, and remember the individual and the competitors and their remembrances of him and so on. And that's what draws people to these type of events. And it's just like when you were there, you realize how special the times were. And
yes, and you also remember how. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
I was going to say, it also makes people remember, how short life is, too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially, when it happens, nobody would have thought that would have happened. You don't think that's going to happen when your brother or your boyfriend or your father or your husband straps into the car, you don't, that's not what you think. You think, like, is he going to kick ass tonight? You don't think about the dangerous side of it. So,
right.
Even that, everybody's there. It makes people, think about loving and caring each other a little bit more than they did,
Right.
So
right.
that's also a good thing.
Obviously, like you say, you don't. They always say race drivers, and especially your family knows, and not just your family, but racing being a family sport, that everybody knows what they sign up for. That
yeah.
But you don't think of it that way. You don't. Every time you strap in, you don't think I could die tonight, or this could be. You don't think of it that way, or else you would freeze. You
freeze. You can't. You have to put all your fears aside.
You don't put. Like you say, you put your fears aside. You don't. That's not foremost in your mind. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. You wouldn't be able to compete. But,
true.
It is unfortunate. Unfortunately, a side effect of what could happen, and usually when it happens, it's unexpected. It's never expected. I guess it's in the back of everybody's mind, but you kind of hope it's tucked away and stays there.
Right.
Anyway, you mentioned the family members that are coming up now. Who else is there that has of the youngsters that's is there interest? Do you think from your perspective, is there any interest in anybody else following the younger footsteps like Jimmy's, or you said?
Oh yeah, little James is a complete daredevil.
Right.
I just saw him today when I was going to pick up gift cards that people donate, and I had to drive by the house, and I drove by, and there he is on the riding lawnmower, hauling ass and cutting grass. We were beeping the horn at him, and he was waving away.
There you go. Anything with wheels.
He's a little guy too. He was on a full-blown riding mower, just zooming around.
Yeah. Well, he's learned from the best, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So
he's a good boy.
What is he competing? What is he running right now?
He runs the go-karts at Wall Stadium. Yeah, he was on the little track in the back, and then they do the Sunday series. It's on the bottom part of the track that they run, and also Little John runs. Jimmy's going to be shaking down Little John's car, the Sportsman, the 5. That's actually John's car. John's going to be running the Sportsman's division next year.
Okay. So
he did good this year. He had one win under his belt. We were very proud of him.
Very good. Now the person you said is in go-karts. How old is he, and when will he be eligible to get? I guess it's an NASCAR license, and there's been a lot of talk.
James is only 8. James is 8, so he's getting his experience very young. He also does soccer. He does other sports at school. He's very competitive already, so he's going to be one to look for once he's able to get in the racing.
Right. He'll probably start about, not start, but he'll probably be in a modified by like 14 or, one of those deals.
And little John is, John's son is 17, or 17 or going to be 18. So he'll be all set for racing for next year.
Right. So I guess now, as far as the modifieds now, I assume at this point the Blewetts are 176 forever. that's their number. How, what are the other numbers they run for, like if there's two Blewetts at one time, they run like the 5, you mentioned a couple of numbers.
Little John took on the 5 because that was his father's first number.
Okay.
So they went with the 5 for him. And then Jimmy's wall car is the 19. The wall modified, and then also Jimmy he ran the 19 in the SK for a couple races, but they got rid of that car. Got a new car for John.
Sure. Right. Also, like whatever juice you made, your fruit punch, grape, lemonade, whatever.
I was wondering where the different numbers came from. I knew in the 76, the origin of the 76 was because of the bicentennial, but I was wondering, if there was other numbers, and you mentioned the 5 and the 19 as two of them, and they were, that they were family numbers also.
Right.
But no, I appreciate you coming on, and I will.
Thanks for having me.
I will definitely give you, more publicity towards the event as we get closer to the 19th. The 19th, and that'll be next week then, correct?
Yes, it will be following the second Turkey Derby practice, and then I also have an extra battery that I bought for the Turkey Derby, being that Jimmy's running so many divisions, so I'll be trying to go live with all of them, so you can watch there, and then you'll also have to make your plans to make it to the 10th annual memorial party next year.
Yes, I will definitely do that. I will definitely try to do that, and like I said, there was one particular year I was going to come, and it just didn't work out transportation-wise, but I will definitely make one of them in the near future. But,
thanks.
I want to thank you for coming on in Jimmy's stead, and you're definitely welcome back anytime. Anytime you have an event or now, by all means, reach out to me, and we'll put you on the air.
All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.
Okay. You too, Janice. Take care now.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Okay, that was Janice Blewett, fans. And she is running a very important event for the family, important to the fellow competitors of John Blewett III. And she tells me, and it surprises me, 9 years, the 9th event that was coming up on the 19th, which is the same day as the Turkey Derby, practice day, one of them. So they hope to get people, competitors come by in Farmingdale, New Jersey, Woody's Tavern, for that event. Hopefully, people will go from the Turkey Derby practice to the memorial event, and like she said, there's a lot of giveaways. I won't run down them all, but you can go on to or contact Woody's Tavern for more details, or if you are on Facebook, contact Janice Blewett, and she will give you the information. Like she said, the addresses are on her Facebook page, and everything that she posts, including the shirts and the giveaways, and I guess the program will eventually be shown on, or she'll post it on Facebook as well. And that is always a well-attended event by competitors and fellow racers and competitors of John Blewett III. Very, very fine young man. And the Blewett family, again, always will have a special place in my heart, because they always treated me with respect and and were mindful of what I had to do in my writing career and race writing career, and they were always very helpful and friendly to me in whatever endeavor I was undertaking at that time. So that should be two interesting events that we spotlighted tonight. Again, I want to thank Paul Masse for coming on and wish him luck with his Hall of Fame induction in New England this Sunday, and of course Janice with her event. And you can get more information right up to the 19th. Again, being held at Woody's Tavern in Farmingdale, New Jersey, and like you say, if it's right across the street from Janice's house, so if you know where Janice Blewett lives, you'll know pretty much where Woody's is located. So that should be two very interesting events coming up. Again, Sunday and next Saturday, I guess, is the 19th. So keep that in mind, and contact Janice this week, and I'm sure she'll have a very busy week, like she said, picking up donations and raffle items and whatever they're doing, auction items and so forth. But that'll be a very, very well-attended event, as it always is. And I want to thank you fans for tuning in this evening. We had some technical difficulties, but appreciate you hanging with us. CJ, if you want to make any announcements, and we can wrap this up.
I just want to again thank everybody for tuning in to Hot Laughs with Stats right here on the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network. Make sure you guys check us out on Facebook, www.the110nationsports.com. Check us out, there you go, messed that up. Check out our website, www.the110nationsports.com. Check us out on Facebook, 110 Nation Sports. Monday through Wednesday, you can catch Mike and myself on the 110 Nation Sports Show at 7 o'clock. So make sure you guys tune in and check us out.
Okay, CJ. And once again, thank you for your service and all you veterans. And have a good weekend, race fans. And if you got the swap shop at Riverhead and this Sunday and all the events this weekend, including the Hall of Fame in New England, support those two. Support anything to do with local track racing. It's important, and that's why we're here. We're here for the fans and support everything that goes on, both in season and out of season, off season, and racing has become a year-round event. So enjoy your weekend, whatever's coming up, the awards in your area or a swap shop or whatever's going on. Check out the websites, and we'll be back next week. Thank you for tuning in.